Section 1 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Beth Thomas. The Watchman. And for fear of him the keepers did shake and become as dead men. Matthew 23:4. My Claudia, it is long since we have met, so kissed, so held each other heart to heart. I thought to greet thee as a conqueror comes, bearing the trophies of his prowess home. But Jove hath willed it should be otherwise. Jove, say I, nay, some mightier, stranger god, who thus hath laid his heavy hand on me. No victor, Claudia, but a broken man, who seeks to hide his weakness in thy love. How beautiful thou art! The years have brought an added splendour to thy loveliness, with passion of dark eye and lip rose red, struggling between its dimple and its pride. And yet there is somewhat that glooms between thy love and mine. Come, girdle me about with thy true arms, and pillow on thy breast this aching and bewildered head of mine. Here, where the fountain glitters in the sun among the saffron lilies, I will tell, if so that words will answer my desire, the shameful fate that hath befallen me. Down in Jerusalem they slew a man, or god, it may be that he was a god, those mad, wild Jews whom Pontius Pilate rules. Thou knowest Pilate, Claudia, a vain man, too weak to govern such a howling horde as those same Jews. This man they crucified. I knew naught of him, had not heard his name until the day they dragged him to his death. Then all tongues wagged about him and his deeds. Some said that he had claimed to be their king, some that he had blasphemed their deity. 'Twas certain he was poor and meanly born, no warrior he, nor hero, and he taught doctrines that surely would upset the world, and so they killed him to be rid of him. Wise, very wise, if he were only man, not quite so wise if he were half a god. I know that strange things happened when he died. There was a darkness and an agony, and some were vastly frightened, not so I. What cared I if that mob of reeking Jews had brought a nameless curse upon their heads? I had no part in that blood-guiltiness. At least he died, and some few friends of his, I think he had not very many friends, took him and laid him in a garden tomb. A watch was set about the sepulchre, lest these, his friends, should hide him and proclaim that he had risen as he had foretold. Laugh not, my Claudia. I laughed when I heard the prophecy. I would I had not laughed. I, Maximus, was chosen for the guard with all my trusty fellows. Pilate knew I was a man who had no foolish heart of softness, all unworthy of a man. My eyes had looked upon a tortured slave as on a beetle crushed beneath my tread. I gloried in the splendid strife of war, lusting for conquest. I had won the praise of our stern general on a scarlet field. Red in my veins the warrior passion ran, for I had sprung from heroes Roman born. That second night we watched before the tomb. My men were merry on the velvet turf, bestarred with early blossoms of the spring. They diced with jest and laughter. All around the moonlight washed us like a silver lake, save where that silent, sealed sepulchre was hung with shadow as a purple pall. A faint wind stirred among the olive boughs. Methinks I hear the sighing of that wind in all sounds since, it was so dumbly sad. But as the night wore on it died away, and all was deadly stillness. Claudia, that stillness was most awful, as if some great heart had broken, and so ceased to beat. I thought of many things, but found no joy in any thought, even the thought of thee. The moon waned in the west, and sickly grew her light, sucked from her in the breaking dawn. Never was dawn so welcome as that pale faint glimmer in the cloudless brooding sky. Claudia, how may I tell what came to pass? I have been mocked at when I told the tale for a crazed dreamer punished by the gods because he slept on guard. But mock not thou. I could not bear it if thy lips should mock the vision dread of that Judean morn. Sudden the pallid east was all aflame, with radiance that beat upon our eyes as from noonday sun. And then we saw two shapes that were as the immortal gods standing before the tomb. Around me fell my men as dead, but I, though through my veins ran a cold tremor never known before, withstood the shock, and saw one shining shape roll back the stone. The whole world seemed ablaze, and through the garden came a rushing wind, thundering a paean as of victory. Then that dead man came forth. O Claudia, if thou couldst but have seen the face of him, never was such a conqueror. Yet no pride was in it, naught but love and tenderness, such as we Romans scoff at, and his eyes bespake him royal. O my Claudia, surely he was no Jew, but very God. Then he looked full upon me. I had borne much staunchly, but that look I could not bear. What man may front a god and live? I fell prone, as if stricken by a thunderbolt. And though I died not, somewhat of me died that made me man. When my long stupor passed, I was no longer Maximus. I was a weakling with a piteous woman's soul, all strength and pride, joy and ambition gone. My Claudia, dare I tell thee what foul curse is mine because I looked upon a god? I care no more for glory. All desire for conquest and for strife is gone from me, all eagerness for war. I only care to help and heal bruised beings, and to give some comfort to the weak and suffering. I cannot even hate those Jews. My lips speak harshly of them, but within my heart I feel a strange compassion. And I love all creatures, to the vilest of the slaves who seem to me as brothers. Claudia, scorn me not for this weakness. It will pass. Surely 'twill pass in time. And I shall be Maximus, strong and valiant once again, forgetting that slain god. And yet, he looked as one who could not be forgot. End of section 1. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 2 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. Songs of the Sea. Rain along shore. Wan white mists upon the sea, east wind harping mournfully, all the sunken reefs along wail in heartbreak in its song. But adown the placid bay fisher folk keep holiday. All the deeps beyond the bar call and murmur from afar, plaining of a mighty woe, where the great ships come and go. But adown the harbour grey fisher folk keep holiday. When the cloudy heavens frown, and the sweeping rain comes down, boats at anchorage must bide, in despite of time or tide, making merry as they may, fisher folk keep holiday. Now is time for jest and song all the idle shore along. Now is time for wooing dear, maidens cannot choose but here. Daffing toil and care away, fisher folk keep holiday. Oh, the fretted reefs may wail, every man has furled his sail. Oh, the wind may moan in fear, every lad is with his dear. Mirth and laughter have their way, fisher folk keep holiday. End of section 2. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 3 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Barbara Best. Sea Sunset. A gallant city has been builded far in the pied heaven, bannered with crimson, sentineled by star of crystal even. Around a harbour of the twilight glowing, with jubilant waves about its gateways flowing. A city of the land of lost delight, on seas enchanted, presently to be lost in mist moon-white and music haunted. Given but briefly to our raptured vision, with all its opal towers and shrines Elysian. Had we some mystic boat with pearly oar and wizard pilot, to guide us safely by the siren shore and cloudy islet, we might embark and reach that shining portal beyond which linger dreams and joys immortal. But we may only gaze with longing eyes on those far, sparkling palaces in the fairy-peopled skies, o'er waters darkling, until the winds of night come shoreward roaming, and the dim west has only grey and gloaming. End of section 3. This recording is in the public domain. Section 4 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Barbara Best. When the Dark Comes Down. When the dark comes down, oh, the wind is on the sea, with lisping laugh and whimper to the red reef's threnody. The boats are sailing homeward now across the harbour bar, with many a jest and many a shout from fishing grounds afar. So furl your sails and take your rest, ye fisher folk so brown, for task and quest are ended when the dark comes down. When the dark comes down, oh, the landward valleys fill, like brimming cups of purple, and on every landward hill there shines a star of twilight that is watching evermore the low, dim-lighted meadows by the long, dim-lighted shore. For there, where vagrant daisies weave the grass a silver crown, the lads and lassies wander when the dark comes down. When the dark comes down, oh, the children fall asleep, and mothers in the fishing huts their happy vigils keep. There's music in the song they sing, and music on the sea, the loving, lingering echoes of the twilight's litany. For toil has folded hands to dream, and care has ceased to frown, and every wave's a lyric when the dark comes down. End of Section 4. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 5 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Harbour Moonrise. There is never a wind to sing o'er the sea on its dimpled bosom that holdeth in fee wealth of silver and magicry. And the harbour is like to an ebon cup, with mother of pearl to the lips lined up, and brimmed with the wine of entranced delight, purple and rare from the flagon of night. Lo, in the east is a glamour and gleam, like waves that lap on the shores of dream, or voice their lure in a poet's theme. And behind the curtsying fisher boats, the barge of the rising moon upfloats, the pilot ship over unknown seas of treasure-laden cloud argosies. Ere ever she drifts from the ocean's rim, out from the background of the shadows dim, stealeth a boat o'er her golden rim. Noiselessly, swiftly, it swayeth by into the bourne of enchanted sky, like a fairy shallop that seeks the strand of a far and uncharted fairyland. Now, ere the sleeping winds may stir, send, O my heart, a wish with her, like to a venturous mariner. For who knoweth but that on an elfin sea she may meet the bark that is sailing to thee, and winging thy message across the foam, may hasten the hour when thy ship comes home. End of Section 5. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 6 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JohnWynter. Before the Storm. There's a greyness over the harbour, like fear on the face of a woman. The sob of the waves has a sound akin to a woman's cry, and the deeps beyond the bar are moaning with evil presage of a storm that will leap from its lair in that dour northeastern sky. Slowly the pale mists rise, like ghosts of the sea, in the offing, creeping all wan and chilly by headland and sunken reef. And a wind is wailing and keening like a lost thing mid the islands, boding of wreck and tempest, plaining of dolour and grief. Swiftly the boats come homeward, over the grim bar crowding, like birds that flee to their shelter in hurry and affright. Only the wild grey gulls that love the cloud and the clamour will dare to tempt the ways of the ravening sea tonight. But the ship that sailed at the dawning, manned by the lads who love us, God help and pity her when the storm is loosed on her track. O women, we pray tonight and keep a vigil of sorrow for those we speed at the dawning and may never welcome back. End of Section 6. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 7 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Jim McDougall. On the Bay. When the salt wave laps on the long dim shore, and frets the reef with its windy sallies, and the dawn's white light is threading once more the purple firs in the landward valleys, while yet the arms of the wide grey sea are cradling the sunrise that is to be, the fisherman's boat through the mist afar has sailed in the wake of the morning star. The wind in his cordage and canvas sings its old glad song of strength and endeavour, and up from the heart of the ocean rings a call of courage and cheer forever. Toil and danger and stress may wait beyond the arch of the morning's gate, but he knows that behind him, upon the shore, a true heart prays for him evermore. When a young moon floats in the hollow sky, like a fairy shallop, all pale and golden, and over the rocks that are grim and high, the lamp of the lighthouse aloft is holden, when the bay is like to a lucent cup, with glamour and glory and glow filled up, and the track of the sunset across the foam, the fisherman's boat comes sailing home. The wind is singing a low sweet song of a rest well won and a toil well over, and there on the shore shines clear and strong the star of the homelight to guide the rover. And deep unto deep may call and wail, but the fisherman laughs as he furls his sail, for the bar is past and the reef is dim, and a true heart is waiting to welcome him. End of Section 7. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 8 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. Shore Twilight. Lo, find we here, when the ripe day is o'er, a kingdom of enchantment by the shore. Behold the sky with early stars a-shine, a jewelled flagon brimmed with purple wine. Like a dumb poet's soul, the troubled sea moans of its joy and sorrow wordlessly. But the glad winds that utter not of grief make silver speech by headland and by reef. Saving for such there is no voice or call to mar the gracious silence over all. Silence so tender 'tis a sweet caress, a most beguiling and dear loneliness. Lo, here we find a beckoning solitude, a winsome presence to be mutely wooed, which, being one, will teach us fabled lore, the old, old grammar of the Sibyl shore. Oh, what a poignant rapture thus to be, lingering at twilight by the ancient sea. End of Section 8. This recording is in the public domain. Section 9 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. Song of the Sea Wind. When the sun sets over the long blue wave, I spring from my couch of rest, and I hurtle and boom over leagues of foam that toss in the weltering west. I pipe a hymn to the headlands high, my comrades for evermore, and I chase the tricksy curls of foam o'er the glimmering sandy shore. The moon is my friend on clear white nights when I ripple her silver way, and whistle blithely about the rocks like an elfin thing at play. But anon I raven with cloud and mist and wail 'neath a curdled sky, when the reef snarls yawn like a questing beast, and the frightened ships go by. I scatter the dawn across the sea like wine of amber flung from a crystal goblet all far and fine where the morning star is hung. I blow from east and I blow from west wherever my longing be. The wind of the land is a hindered thing, but the ocean wind is free. End of Section 9. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 10 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. Morning along shore. Hark, oh hark, the elfin laughter, all the little waves along, as if echoes speeding after mocked a merry merman's song. All the gulls are out delighting in a wild, uncharted quest. See the first red sunshine smiting silver sheen of wing and breast. Ho, the sunrise, rainbow-hearted, steals athwart the misty brine, and the sky where clouds have parted is a bowl of amber wine. Sweet its cradle lilt partaking, dreams that hover o'er the sea, but the lyric of its waking is a sweeter thing to me. Who would drowse in dull devotion to his ease when dark is done, and upon its breast the ocean like a jewel wears the sun? Up, forsake a lazy pillow, calls the sea from cleft and cave. Ho, for antic wind and billow, when the morn is on the wave. End of section 10. This recording is in the public domain. Section 11 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. Off to the fishing ground. There's a piping wind from a sunrise shore, blowing over a silver sea. There's a joyous voice in the lapsing tide that calls enticingly. The mist of dawn has taken flight to the dim horizon's bound, and with wide sails set and eager hearts we're off to the fishing ground. Ho, comrades mine, how that brave wind sings, like a great sea harp afar. We whistle its wild notes back to it as we cross the harbor bar. Behind us there are the homes we love, and hearts that are fond and true, and before us beckons a strong young day on leagues of glorious blue. Comrades, a song as the fleet goes out, a song of the Orient Sea. We are the heirs of its tingling strife, its courage and liberty. Sing as the white sails cream and fill, and the foam in our wake is long. Sing till the headlands black and grim echo us back our song. Oh, 'tis a glad and heartsome thing to wake ere the night be done, and steer the course that our fathers steered in the path of the rising sun. The wind and welkin and wave are ours, wherever our bourne is found, and we envy no landsman his dream and sleep when we're off to the fishing ground. End of section 11. This recording is in the public domain. Section 12 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. In port. Out of the fires of the sunset come we again to our own. We have girdled the world and are sailing under many an orient star. Still to our battered canvas the scents of the spice gales cling, and our hearts are swelling within us as we cross the harbor bar. Beyond are the dusky hills where the twilight hangs in the pine trees. Below are the lights of home where are watching the tender eyes we have dreamed of on fretted seas in the hours of long night watches, ever a beacon to us as we look to the stranger skies. Hark how the wind comes out of the haven's arms to greet us, bringing with it the song that is sung on the ancient shore. Shipmates, furl we our sails, we have left the seas behind us, gladly finding at last our homes and our loves once more. End of section 12. This recording is in the public domain. Section 13 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. The Gulls. Soft is the sky in the mist-kirtled east, light is abroad on the sea, all of the heaven with silver is fleeced, holding the sunrise in fee. Lo, with a flash and uplifting of wings, down where the long ripples break, cometh a bevy of glad-hearted things. 'Tis morn, for the gulls are awake. Slumber is calm on the ocean and shore, comes with the turn of the tide. Never a strong sweeping pinion may soar where the tame fishing boats ride. Far and beyond in blue deserts of sea, where the wild winds are at play, there may the spirits of seabirds be free. 'Tis noon, for the gulls are away. Over the rim of the sunset is blown sea dusk of purple and gold. Speed now the wanderers back to their own, wings the most tireless must fold. Homeward together at twilight they flock, sated with joys of the deep. Drowsily huddled on headland and rock, 'tis night, for the gulls are asleep. End of section 13. This recording is in the public domain. Section 14 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. Sunrise along shore. Athwart the harbour lingers yet the ashen gleam of breaking day, and where the guardian cliffs are set, the noiseless shadows steal away. But all the winnowed eastern sky is flushed with many a tender hue, and spears of light are smiting through the ranks where huddled sea mists fly. Across the ocean wan and grey, gay fleets of golden ripples come, for at the birth hour of the day the roistering wayward winds are dumb. The rocks that stretch to meet the tide are smitten with a ruddy glow, and faint reflections come and go where fishing boats at anchor ride. All life leaps out to greet the light, the shining seagulls dive and soar, the swallows whirl in dizzy flight, and sandpeeps flit along the shore. From every purple landward hill the banners of the morning fly, but on the headlands dim and high the fishing hamlets slumber still. One boat alone beyond the bar is sailing outward blithe and free, to carry sturdy hearts afar across those wastes of sparkling sea, staunchly to seek what may be won from out the treasures of the deep, to toil for those at home who sleep, and be the first to greet the sun. End of section 14. This recording is in the public domain. Section 15 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. The Sea Spirit. I smile o'er the wrinkled blue. Lo, the sea is fair, smooth as the flow of a maiden's hair, and the welkin's light shines through into mid-sea caverns of beryl hue. And the little waves laugh and the mermaids sing, and the sea is a beautiful, sinuous thing. I scowl in sullen guise. The sea grows dark and dun. The swift clouds hide the sun, but not the pale light in my eyes. And the frightened wind as it flies ruffles the billows with stormy wing, and the sea is a terrible, treacherous thing. When moonlight glimmers dim, I pass in the path of the mist, like a pale spirit by spirits kissed. At dawn I chant my own weird hymn, and I dabble my hair in the sunset's rim, and I call to the dwellers along the shore with a voice of gramarye evermore. And if one for love of me gives to my call an ear, I will woo him and hold him dear, and teach him the way of the sea, and my glamour shall ever over him be. Though he wander afar in the cities of men, he will come at last to my arms again. End of section 15. This recording is in the public domain. Section 16 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. Harbour Dawn. There's a hush and stillness calm and deep, for the waves have wooed all the winds to sleep in the shadow of headlands bold and steep. But some gracious spirit has taken the cup of the crystal sky and filled it up with rosy wine, and in it afar has dissolved the pearl of the morning star. The girdling hills with the night mist cold in purple raiment are hooded and stoled, and smit on the brows with fire and gold. And in the distance the wide white sea is a thing of glamour and wizardry, with its wild heart lulled to a passing rest, and the sunrise cradled upon its breast. With the first red sunlight on mast and spar, a ship is sailing beyond the bar, bound to a land that is fair and far. And those who wait and those who go are brave and hopeful, for well they know fortune and favor the ship shall win that crosses the bar when the dawn comes in. End of section 16. This recording is in the public domain. Section 17 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. My Longshore Lass. Far in the mellow western sky, above the restless harbour bar, a beacon on the coast of night shines out a calm, white evening star. But your deep eyes, my Longshore Lass, are brighter, clearer far. The glory of the sunset past still gleams upon the water there, but all its splendor cannot match the wind-blown brightness of your hair. Not any sea maid's floating locks of gold are half so fair. The waves are whispering to the sands with murmurs as of elfin glee, but your low laughter, Longshore Lass, is like a sea harp's melody, and the vibrant tones of your tender voice are sweeter far to me. End of section 17. This recording is in the public domain. Section 18 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. When the fishing boats go out. When the lucent skies of morning flush with dawning rose once more, and waves of golden glory break adown the sunrise shore, and o'er the arch of heaven pied films of vapor float, there's joyance and there's freedom when the fishing boats go out. The wind is blowing freshly up from far uncharted caves, and sending sparkling kisses o'er the brows of virgin waves, while routed dawn mists shiver, oh far and fast they flee, pierced by the shafts of sunrise athwart the merry sea. Behind us, fair, light-smitten hills in dappled splendor lie, before us the wide ocean runs to meet the limpid sky. Our hearts are full of poignant life, and care has fled afar, as sweeps the white-winged fishing fleet across the harbor bar. The sea is calling to us in a blithesome voice and free. There's keenest rapture on its breast and boundless liberty. Each man is master of his craft, its gleaming sails outblown, and far behind him on the shore a home he calls his own. Salt is the breath of ocean slopes, and fresher blows the breeze, and swifter still each bounding keel cuts through the combing seas. Athwart our masts the shadows of the dipping seagulls float, and all the water world's alive when the fishing boats go out. End of section 18. This recording is in the public domain. Section 19 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. The Bridal. Last night a pale young moon was wed unto the amorous, eager sea. Her maiden veil of mist she wore, his kingly purple vesture he. With her a bridal train of stars walked sisterly through shadows dim, and, master minstrel of the world, the great wind sang the marriage hymn. Thus came she down the silent sky unto the sea her faith to plight, and the grave priest who wedded them was ancient, sombre-mantled Night. End of section 19. This recording is in the public domain. Section 20 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. The Sea to the Shore. Lo, I have loved thee long, long have I yearned and entreated. Tell me how I may win thee, tell me how I must woo. Shall I creep to thy white feet in guise of a humble lover? Shall I croon in mild petition, murmuring vows anew? Shall I stretch my arms unto thee, biding thy maiden coyness, under the silver of morning, under the purple of night? Taming my ancient rudeness, checking my heady clamour, thus, is it thus I must woo thee, oh, my delight? Nay, 'tis no way of the sea thus to be meekly suitor. I shall storm thee away with laughter, wrapped in my beard of snow. With the wildest of billows for chords, I shall harp thee a song for thy bridal, a mighty lyric of love that feared not, nor would forego. With a red gold wedding ring, mined from the caves of sunset, fast shall I bind thy faith to my faith evermore. And the stars will wait on our pleasure, the great north wind will trumpet a thunderous marriage march for the nuptials of sea and shore. End of section 20. This recording is in the public domain. Section 21 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Arthur Krolman. The Voyagers. We shall launch our shallop on waters blue from some dim primrose shore. We shall sail with the magic of dusk behind and enchanted coasts before, over oceans that stretch to the sunset land where lost Atlantis lies, and our pilot shall be the vesper star that shines in the amber skies. The sirens will call to us again, all sweet and demon fair, and a pale mermaiden will beckon us with mist on her night black hair. We shall see the flash of her ivory arms, her mocking and luring face, and her guiling laughter will echo through the great wind-winnowed space. But we shall not linger for woven spell or sea nymph's sorceries. It is ours to seek for the fount of youth and the gold of Hesperides, till the harp of the waves in its rhythmic beat keeps time to our pulses' swing, and the orient welkin is smit to flame with auroral crimsoning. And at last, on some white and wondrous dawn, we shall reach the fairy isle, where our hope and our dream are waiting us, and the tomorrows smile. With song on our lips and faith in our hearts, we sail on our ancient quest, and each man shall find, at the end of the voyage, the thing he loves the best. End of section 21. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 22 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Songs of the Hills and Woods. Twilight and I went hand in hand. Twilight and I went hand in hand as lovers walk in shining maze, o'er musky, memory-haunted ways, across a lonely harvest land, where the west winds chanted in the wheat an old, old vesper, wondrous and sweet. O, twilight was a comrade rare for gypsy heath or templed grove, in her grey vesture shadow wove. I saw the darkness of her hair faint mirrored in a field pool dim, as we stood tiptoe on its rim. We went as lightly as on wings through many a scented chamber fair, among the pines and balsams, where I could have dreamed of darling things, and ever as we went I knew the peeping fairy folk went too. I could have lingered now and then by gates of moonrise that might lead to some forgotten spiceried mead, or in some mossy cloistered glen, where silence very still and deep seemed fallen in enchanted sleep. But twilight ever led me on, as lovers walk, until we came to hills where sunset's shaken flame had paled to ashes dead and wan. And there, with footsteps stolen light, she left me to the lure of night. End of section 22. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 23 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Lydia. Come, rest awhile. Come, rest awhile, and let us idly stray in glimmering valleys, cool and far away. Come from the greedy mart, the troubled street, and listen to the music, faint and sweet, that echoes ever to a listening ear, unheard by those who will not pause to hear. The wayward chimes of memory's pensive bells, wind-blown o'er misty hills and curtained dells. One step aside and dewy buds unclose, the sweetness of the violet and the rose. Song and romance still linger in the green, and blossomed ways by you so seldom seen. And near at hand, would you but see them, lie all lovely things beloved in days gone by. You have forgotten what it is to smile in your too busy life. Come, rest awhile. End of section 23. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 24 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Newgatenovelist. An April Night. The moon comes up o'er the deeps of the woods and the long, low dingles that hide the hills, where the ancient beeches are moist with buds, over the pools and the whimpering rills. And with her the mists, like dryads that creep from their oaks, or the spirits of pine-hid springs, who hold, while the eyes of the world are asleep, with the wind on the hills, their gay revellings. Down on the marshlands, with flicker and glow, wanders Will-o'-the-Wisp through the night, seeking for witch gold lost long ago by the glimmer of goblin lantern light. The night is a sorceress, dusk-eyed and dear, akin to all eerie and elfin things, who weaves about us in meadow and mere the spell of 100 vanished springs. End of section 24. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 25 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. Rain on the Hill. Rain on the hill. Now on the hill, the fitful wind is so still that never a wimpling mist uplifts, nor a trembling leaf drop-laden stirs. From the ancient firs, aroma of balsam drifts, and the silent places are filled with elusive odors distilled by the rain from asters, empearled and frilled, and a wild, wet savor that dwells far adown in tawny fallows and bracken dells. Then, with a rush, breaking the beautiful hush, where the only sound was the lisping, low converse of raindrops, or the dear sound, close to the ground, that grasses make when they grow, comes the wind in a gay, rollicking, turbulent way, to winnow each bough and toss each spray, piping and whistling in glee, with the vibrant notes of a merry minstrelsy. The friendly rain sings many a haunting strain, now of gladness and now of dole, anon of the glamour and the dream that ever seem to wait on a pilgrim soul. Yea, we can hear the grief of an elder year, and laughter half forgotten and dear. In the wind and the rain we find fellowship meet for each change of mood or mind. End of section 25. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 26 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Tori Colgan. For Little Things. Last night I looked across the hills and through an arch of darkling pine. Low swung against a limpid west I saw a young moon shine, and as I gazed there blew a wind, loosed where the sylvan shadows stir, bringing delight to soul and sense, the breath of dying fir. This morn I saw a dancing host of poppies in a garden way, and straight my heart was mirth possessed, and I was glad as they. I heard a song across the sea, as sweet and faint as echoes are, and glimpsed a poignant happiness no care of earth might mar. Dear God, our life is beautiful in every splendid gift it brings, but most I thank Thee humbly for the joy of little things. End of section 26. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 27 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Travers. Spring Song. Hark, I hear a robin calling. List, the wind is from the south, and the orchard bloom is falling sweet as kisses on the mouth. In the dreamy vale of beeches, fair and faint is woven mist, and the river's orient reaches are the palest amethyst. Every limpid brook is singing of the lure of April days, every piney glen is ringing with the maddest roundelays. Come and let us seek together springtime lore of daffodils, giving to the golden weather greeting on the summer warm hills. Ours shall be the moonrise stealing through the birch's ivory white, ours shall be the mystic healing of the velvet-footed night. Ours shall be the gypsy winding of the path with violets blue, ours at last the wizard finding of the land where dreams come true. End of section 27. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 28 of Watchmen and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. A day off. Let us put a while away all the cares of work a day, for a golden time forget task and worry, toil and fret. Let us take a day to dream in the meadow by the stream. We may lie in grasses cool, fringing a pellucid pool. We may learn the gay brook runes, sung on amber afternoons, and the keen wind rhyme that fills mossy hollow of the hills. Where the wild wood whisper stirs, we may talk with lisping firs. We may gather honeyed blooms in the dappled forest glooms. We may eat of berries red o'er the emerald upland spread. We may linger as we will in the sunset valleys still, till the gypsy shadows creep from the starlit land of sleep, and the mist of evening grey girdles round our pilgrim way. We may bring to work again courage from the tasselled glen, bring a strength unfailing won from the paths of cloud and sun, and the wholesome zest that springs from all happy growing things. End of section 28. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 29 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Travers. The Wind. A wind would saw you in the south, in lilied meadows far and fair. I saw a lover kiss his lass, new won beneath the evening star. A wind would saw you in the west, of passing sweet that wooed your stay. I saw a mother kneeling by the cradle where her firstborn lay. A wind would saw you in the north, that you shall dream of evermore. I saw a maiden keeping tryst upon a grey and haunted shore. A wind would saw you in the east, that still of ancient dole you croon. I saw a wan wreck on the waves, and a dead face beneath the moon. End of section 29. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 30 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Wood Pool. Here is a voice that soundeth low and far, and lyric, voice of wind among the pines, where the untroubled glimmering waters are, and sunlight seldom shines. Elusive shadows linger shyly here, and woodflowers blow like pale, sweet spirit bloom, and white, slim birches whisper, mirrored clear, in the pool's lucent gloom. Here Pan might pipe, or wondering Dryad kneel to view her loveliness beside the brim, or laughing wood nymphs from the byways steal to dance around its rim. 'Tis such a witching spot as might beseem a seeker for young friendship's trysting place, or lover yielding to the immortal dream of one beloved face. End of section 30. This recording is in the public domain. Section 31 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Downstream. Comrades, up! Let us row downstream in this first rare dawn light, while far in the clear northwest the late moon whitens and wanes. Before us the sun will rise, deep purpling headland and islet. It is well to meet him thus, with the life astir in our veins. The wakening birds will sing for us in the woods wind-shaken, and the solitude of the hills will be broken by hymns to the light, as we sweep past drowsing hamlets, still feathered by dreams of slumber, and leave behind us the shadows that fell with the falling of night. The young day's strength is ours, in sinew and thew and muscle. We are filled and thrilled with the spirit that dwells in the waste and wold, glamour of wind and water, charm of the wildernesses. Oh, the dear joy of it, greater than human hearts can hold. While the world's tired children sleep, we bend to our oars, with faces set in our eager gladness towards the morning's gate. Lo, 'tis the sweet of the day. On, comrades mine, for beyond us all its dower of beauty, its glory and wonder wait. End of section 31. This recording is in the public domain. Section 32 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Echo Dell. In a lone valley, fair and far, where many sweet beguilements are, I know a spot to lag and dream through damask morns and noons agleam. For feet fall lightly on the fern, and twilight is a wondrous thing. When the winds blow from some far bourne, beyond the hill rims westering, there echoes ring, as if a throng of fairies, hid from mortal eyes, sent laughter back in spirit guise, and song as the pure soul of song. Oh, 'tis a spot to love right well, this lonely, witching Echo Dell. Even the winds an echo know, elusive, faint, such as might blow from wandering elfland bugles far, beneath an occidental star. And I have thought the bluebells lent a subtle music to my ear, and that the pale wild roses bent to hearken sounds I might not hear. The tasseled fir trees softly croon the fabled lore of elder days, and through the shimmering eastern haze floats slowly up the mellow moon. Come, heart o' mine, for love must dwell in whispering, witching Echo Dell. End of section 32. This recording is in the public domain. Section 33 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Rovers. Over the fields we go, through the sweets of the purple clover, that letters a message for us, as for every vagrant rover. Before us the dells are abloom, and a leaping brook calls after, feeling its kinship with us in lore of dreams and laughter. Out of the valleys of moonlight elfin voices are calling. Down from the misty hills faint, far greetings are falling. Whisper the grasses to us, murmuring gleeful and airy, knowing us pixie-led, seeking the haunts of faery. The wind is our joyful comrade, wherever our free feet wander, over the tawny wolds to the meres and meadows yonder. The mild-eyed stars go with us, or the rain so swiftly flying, racing us over the wastes where the hemlocks and pines are sighing. Across the upland dim, down through the beckoning hollow, oh, we go too far and fast for the feet of care to follow. The gypsy fire in our hearts for the wilderness wide and luring. Other loves may fail, but this is great and enduring. Other delights may pall, but the joy of the open never. The charm of the silent places must win and hold us forever. Bondage of walls we leave with never a glance behind us. Under the lucent sky the delights of the rover shall find us. End of section 33. This recording is in the public domain. Section 34 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Among the Pines. Here, let us linger at will, and delightsomely hearken. Music Aeolian of wind in the boughs of pine, timbrel of falling waters, sounds all soft and sonorous, worshipful litanies sung at a bannered shrine. Deep let us breathe the ripeness and savor of balsam, tears that the pines have wept in sorrow sweet. With its aroma comes beguilement of things forgotten, long past hopes of the years on tiptoeing feet. Far in the boskiest glen of this wood is a dream and a silence. Come, we shall claim them ours ere look we long. A dream that we dreamed and lost, a silence richly hearted, deep at its lyric core with the soul of a song. If there be storm, it will thunder a march in the branches, so that our feet may keep true time as we go. If there be rain, it will laugh, it will glisten and beckon, calling to us as a friend, all lightly and low. If it be night, the moonlight will wander winsomely with us. If it be hour of dawn, all heaven will bloom. If it be sunset, its glow will enfold and pursue us to the remotest valley of purple gloom. Lo, the pine wood is a temple where the days meet to worship, laying their cark and care for the nonce aside. God, who made it, keeps it as a witness to him forever, walking in it as a garden at eventide. End of section 34. This recording is in the public domain. Section 35 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. A day in the open. Ho, a day, whereon we may up and away, with a fetterless wind that is out on the downs, and there, piping a call to the fallow and shore, where the sea evermore surgeth over the grey reef, and drowns the fierce rocks with white foam. It is ours with untired feet to roam, where the pines in green gloom of wide vales make their murmuring home, or the pools that the sunlight hath kissed mirror back a blue sky that is winnowed of cloud and of mist. Ho, a day, whereon we may up and away through the orient distances hazy and pied, hand in hand with the gypsying breezes that blow here and there, to and fro, o'er the meadows all rosy and wide, where a lyric of flowers is sweet sung to the frolicking hours, and the merry buds letter the footsteps of tiptoeing showers. We may climb where the steep is beset with a turbulent waterfall, loving to clamor and fret. Ho, a day, whereon we may up and away to the year that is holding her cup of wild wine. If we drink, we shall be as the gods of the wold in the blithe days of old, elate with a laughter divine. Yea, and then we shall know the rare magic of solitude so we shall nevermore wish its delight and its dreams to forego, and our blood will upstir and upleap with a fellowship splendid, a gladness impassioned and deep. End of section 35. This recording is in the public domain. Section 36 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Midnight in Camp. Night in the unslumbering forest, from the free, vast pine lands, by the foot of man, untrod, blows the wild wind, roaming rejoicingly, this wilderness of God. And the tall firs that all day long have flung balsamic odors where the sunshine burned, chant to its harping primal epics, learned when this old world was young. Beyond the lake, white girdling peaks uplift untroubled brows to virgin skies afar, and o'er the uncertain water glimmers drift of fitful cloud and star. Sure, never day such mystic beauty held as sylvan midnight here in this surcease of toil, when the kind darkness gives us peace, garnered from years of eld. Lo, hearken to the mountain waterfall, laughing adown its pathway to the glen, and nearer in the cedars the low call of brook to brook again. Voices that garish daytime may not know wander at will along the bosky steeps, and silent silver-footed moonlight creeps through the dim glades below. Oh, it is well to waken with the woods, and feel, as those who wait with God alone, the forest's heart in these rare solitudes, beating against our own. Close shut behind us are the gates of care. Divinity enfolds us, prone to bless, and our souls kneel. Night in the wilderness is one great prayer. End of section 36. This recording is in the public domain. Section 37 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Hill Maples. Here on a hill of the Occident stand we, shoulder to shoulder, comrades, tried and true, through a mighty swath of the years. Spring harps glad laughter through us, and ministrant rains of the autumn sing us again the songs of ancient dolour and tears. The glory of sunrise smites on our fair, free brows, uplifted when the silver-kirtled day steps over the twilight's bars. At evening we look adown into valleys hearted with sunset, and we whisper old lore together under the smouldering stars. Crescent moons of the summer gleam through our swaying branches. Knee-deep in fern we stand, while the days of the sun-time go. And the winds of winter love us, the keen, gay winds of the winter, coming to our grey arms from over the plains of snow. Down in the valleys beneath us is wooing and winning and wedding. Down in the long dim valleys earth children wail and weep. But here on these free hills we grow and are strong and flourish, comrades shoulder to shoulder, our watch of the years to keep. End of section 37. This recording is in the public domain. Section 38 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. A Summer Day. 1. The dawn laughs out on orient hills and dances with the diamond rills. The ambrosial wind but faintly stirs the silken beaded gossamers. In the wide valleys, lone and fair, lyrics are piped from limpid air, and far above the pine trees free voice ancient lore of sky and sea. Come, let us fill our hearts straightway with hope and courage of the day. 2. Noon, hiving sweets of sun and flower, has fallen on dreams in wayside bower, where bees hold honeyed fellowship with the ripe blossom of her lip. All silent are her poppied vales, and all her long Arcadian dales, where idleness is gathered up, a magic draught in summer's cup. Come, let us give ourselves to dreams by lisping margins of her streams. 3. Adown the golden sunset way the evening comes in wimple gray. By burnished shore and silver lake cool winds of ministration wake. O'er occidental meadows far there shines the light of moon and star, and sweet low tinkling music rings about the lips of haunted springs. In quietude of earth and air 'tis meet we yield our souls to prayer. End of section 38. This recording is in the public domain. Section 39 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. September. Lo, a ripe sheaf of many golden days, gleaned by the year in autumn's harvest ways, with here and there, blood tinted as an ember, some crimson poppy of a late delight, atoning in its splendor for the flight of summer blooms and joys. This is September. End of section 39. This recording is in the public domain. Section 40 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. In Lover's Lane. I know a place for loitering feet, deep in the valley, where the breeze makes melody in lichened boughs, and murmurs low love litanies. There slender harebells nod and dream, and pale wild roses offer up the fragrance of their golden hearts, as from some incense-brimmed cup. It holds the sunshine sifted down softly through many a beechen screen, save where, by deeper woods embraced, cool shadows linger, dim and green. And there my love and I may walk, and hearken to the lapsing fall of unseen brooks and tender winds, and wooing birds that sweetly call. And every voice to her will say what I repeat in dear refrain, and eyes will meet with seeking eyes, and hands will clasp in Lover's Lane. Come, sweetheart, then, and we will stray adown that valley, lingering long, until the rose is wet with dew, and robins come to evensong, and woo each other, borrowing speech of love from winds and brooks and birds, until our sundered thoughts are one, and hearts have no more need of words. End of section 40. This recording is in the public domain. Section 41 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. On the hills. Through the pungent hours of the afternoon, on the autumn slopes we have lightly wandered, where the sunshine lay in a golden swoon, and the lingering year all its sweetness squandered. Oh, it was blithesome to roam at will over the crest of each westering hill, over those dreamy, enchanted lands where the trees held to us their friendly hands. Winds in the pine boughs softly crooned, or in the grasses complained most sweetly, with all the music of earth attuned in this dear ripe time that must pass so fleetly. Goldenrod, as we idled by, held its torches of flame on high, and the asters beckoned along our way like fair fine ladies in silk array. We passed by woods where the day aside knelt like a pensive nun and tender. We looked on valleys of purple pride where she reigned a queen in her misty splendor. But out on the hills she was wild and free, a comrade to wander right gypsily, luring us on over waste and wold with the charm of a message half sung, half told. And now, when far in the shining west she has dropped her flowers on the sunset meadow, we turn away from our witching quest to the kindly starshine and gathering shadow. Filled to the lips of our souls are we with the beauty given so lavishly, and hand in hand with the night we come back to the light and the hearth of home. End of section 41. This recording is in the public domain. Section 42 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. An autumn evening. Dark hills against a hollow crocus sky, scarfed with its crimson pennons, and below the dome of sunset long, hushed valleys lie cradling the twilight, where the lone winds blow, and wake among the harps of leafless trees fantastic runes and mournful melodies. The chilly, purple air is threaded through with silver from the rising moon afar, and from a gulf of clear, unfathomed blue in the southwest glimmers a great gold star above the darkening druid glens of fir, where beckoning boughs and elfin voices stir. And so I wander through the shadows still, and look and listen with a rapt delight, pausing again and yet again at will to drink the elusive beauty of the night, until my soul is filled as some deep cup that with divine enchantment is brimmed up. End of section 42. This recording is in the public domain. Section 43 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. November evening. Come, for the dusk is our own. Let us fare forth together, with a quiet delight in our hearts, for the ripe, still, autumn weather, through the rustling valley and wood, and over the crisping meadow, under a high-sprung sky, winnowed of mist and shadow. Sharp is the frosty air, and through the far hill gaps showing, lucent sunset lakes of crocus and green are glowing. 'Tis the hour to walk at will in a wayward, unfettered roaming, caring for naught save the charm, elusive and swift, of the gloaming. Watchful and stirless the fields, as if not unkindly holding harvested joys in their clasp, and to their broad bosoms folding baby hopes of a spring, trusted to motherly keeping, thus to be cherished and happed through the long months of their sleeping. Silent the woods are, and grey, but the firs than ever are greener, nipped by the frost till the tang of their loosened balsam is keener, and one little wind in their boughs, eerily swaying and swinging, very soft and low, like a wondering minstrel, is singing. Beautiful is the year, but not as the spring-like maiden, garlanded with her hopes, rather the woman, laden with wealth of joy and grief, worthily won through living, wearing her sorrow now like a garment of praise and thanksgiving. Gently the dark comes down over the wild, fair places, the whispering glens in the hills, the open, starry spaces. Rich with the gifts of the night, sated with questing and dreaming, we turn to the dearest of paths, where the star of the homelight is gleaming. End of section 43. This recording is in the public domain. Section 44 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Out o' doors. There's a gypsy wind across the harvest land. Let us fare forth with it, lightly, hand in hand. Where cloud shadows blow across the sun-warm waste, and the first red leaves are falling, let us haste, for the waning days are lavish of their stores, and the joy of life is with us out o' doors. Let us roam along the ways of goldenrod, over uplands where the spicy bracken nod, through the wildwood where the hemlock branches croon their rune chant of elder days across the noon. For the mellow air its pungency outpours, and the glory of the year is out o' doors. There's a great grey sea beyond us calling far. There's a blue tide curling o'er the harbour bar. Oh, the breeze that smites us saltly on the lips whistles gaily in the sails of outbound ships. Let us send our thoughts with them to fabled shores, for the pilgrim mood is on us out o' doors. Lo, the world's rejoicing in each spirit thrills. Strength and gladness are to us upon the hills. We are one with crimson bough and ancient sea, holding all the joy of autumn hours in fee. Hope within us like a questing bird upsoars, and there's room for song and laughter out o' doors. End of section 44. This recording is in the public domain. Section 45 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. In the days of the goldenrod. Across the meadow, in brooding shadow, I walk to drink of the autumn's wine. The charm of story, the artist's glory, today on these silvering hills is mine. On height, in hollow, where'er I follow, by mellow hillside and searing sod, its plumes uplifting, in light winds drifting, I see the glimmer of goldenrod. In this latest comer, the vanished summer has left its sunshine the world to cheer, and bids us remember in late September what beauty mates with the passing year. The days that are fleetest are still the sweetest, and life is near to the heart of God, and the peace of heaven to earth is given in this wonderful time of the goldenrod. End of section 45. This recording is in the public domain. Section 46 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. A Winter Day. 1. The air is silent, save where stirs a bugling breeze among the firs. The virgin world, in white array, waits for the bridegroom kiss of day. All heaven blooms rarely in the east, where skies are silvery and fleeced. And o'er the orient hills, made glad, the morning comes, in wonder clad. Oh, 'tis a time most fit to see how beautiful the dawn can be. 2. Wide sparkling fields, snow-vestured lie, beneath a blue, unshadowed sky. A glistening splendor crowns the woods, and bosky, whistling solitudes. In hemlock glen and reedy mere, the tang of frost is sharp and clear. Life hath a jollity and zest, a poignancy made manifest. Laughter and courage have their way at noontide of a winter's day. 3. Faint music rings in wold and dell, the tinkling of a distant bell, where homestead lights with friendly glow glimmer across the drifted snow. Beyond a valley, dim and far, lit by an occidental star, tall pines the marge of day beset, like many a slender minaret, whence priest-like winds on crystal air summon the reverent world to prayer. End of section 46. This recording is in the public domain. Section 47 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. Twilight. From vales of dawn hath day pursued the night, who mocking fled, swift-sandaled, to the west, nor ever lingered in her wayward flight with dusk-eyed glance to recompense his quest, but over crocus hills and meadows gray sped fleetly on her way. Now when the day, shorn of his failing strength, hath fallen spent before the sunset bars, the fair, wild night, with pity touched at length, crowned with her chaplet of out-blossoming stars, creeps back repentantly upon her way to kiss the dying day. End of section 47. This recording is in the public domain. Section 48 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Call of the Winds. Oh, come out with the wind of spring, and step it blithely in woodlands waking. Friend am I of each growing thing, from the grey sod into sunshine breaking. Mine is the magic of twilights dim, of violets blue on the still pool's rim. Mine is the breath of the blossoms young, sweetest of fragrances, storied or sung. Come, ye earth children, weary and worn, I will lead you over the hills of morn. Oh, come out with the summer wind, and loiter in meadows of ripening clover, where the purple noons are long and kind and the great white clouds drift fleecily over. Mine is a mortal minstrelsy, the fellowship of the rose and bee, beguiling laughter of willowed rills, the rejoicing of pines on inland hills. Come, ye earth children, by dale and stream, I will lead you into the ways of dream. Oh, when the wind of autumn rings through jubilant mornings, crisp and golden, come where the yellow woodland flings its hoarded wealth over byways olden. Mine are the grasses frosted and sere that lisp and rustle around the mere. Mine are the flying wracks that dim the lingering sunset's reddening rim. Earth children, come, in the waning year I will harp you to laughter and buoyant cheer. Oh, when the wind of winter blows over the uplands and moonlit spaces, come ye out to the waste of snows, to the glimmering fields and the silent places. I whistle gaily on starry nights through the arch of the elfin northern lights. But in long white valleys I pause to hark where the ring of the homelights gems the dark. Come, ye earth children, whose hearts are sad, I will make you valiant and strong and glad. End of section 48. This recording is in the public domain. Section 49 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. A winter dawn. Above the marge of night a star still shines, and on the frosty hills the sombre pines harbor an eerie wind that crooneth low over the glimmering wastes of virgin snow. Through the pale arch of Orient the morn comes in a milk-white splendor newly born. A sword of crimson cuts in twain the gray banners of shadow hosts, and lo, the day. End of section 49. This recording is in the public domain. Section 50 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Forest Path. Oh, the charm of idle dreaming, where the dappled shadows dance. All the leafy aisles are teeming with the lure of old romance. Down into the forest dipping, deep and deeper as we go, one might fancy dryads slipping where the white-stemmed birches grow. Lurking gnome and freakish fairy in the fern may peep and hide. Sure, their whispers, low and airy, ring us in on every side. Saw you where the pines are rocking nymph's white shoulder as she ran? Lo, that music, faint and mocking, is it not a pipe of Pan? Hear you that elusive laughter of the hidden waterfall? Nay, a satyr speeding after ivy-crowned Bacchanal. Far and farther as we wander, sweeter shall our roaming be. Come, for dim and winsome yonder lies the path to Arcady. End of section 50. This recording is in the public domain. Section 51 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. At Nightfall. The dark is coming o'er the world, my playmate, and the fields where poplars stand are very still. all our groves of green delight have been invaded. There are voices quite unknown upon the hill. The wind has grown too weary for a comrade. It is keening in the rushes, spent and low. Let us join our hands and hasten very softly to the little, olden, friendly path we know. The stars are laughing at us, oh, my playmate, very, very far away in lonely skies. The trees that were our friends are strangers to us, and the fern is full of whispers and of sighs. The sounds we hear are not what we may share in. We may not linger where the white moths roam. We must hasten yet more swiftly, little playmate, to the house among the pines that is our home. The dark is creeping closer yet, my playmate, and the woods seem crowding nearer as we go. Oh, how very, very bold have grown the shadows! They may touch us as they flutter to and fro. The silence is too dreadful for our laughter. The night is very full of strange alarms. But it cannot hurt us now, oh little playmate. One more step, and we are safe in mother's arms. End of section 51. This recording is in the public domain. Section 52 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Bruce Kachuk. The Truce O Night. Lo, it is dark, save for the crystal spark of a virgin star, or the purpling lea, or the fine, keen, silvery grace of a young moon that is hung o'er the priest-like firs by the sea. Lo, it is still, save for the wind of the hill, and the luring primeval sounds that fill the moist and scented air. 'Tis the truce o' night, away with unrest and care. Now we may forget love's fever and hate's fret, forget tomorrow and yesterday, and the hopes we buried in musky gloom will come out of their tomb, warm and poignant and gay. We may wander wide, with only a wish for a guide, by heath and pool where the little folk bide. We may share in fairy mirth, and partake once more in the happy thoughts of earth. Lo, we may rest here on her cradling breast in the wonderful time of the truce o' night, and sweet things that happened long ago, softly and slow, will creep back to us in delight, and our dreams may be compact of young melody, just such as under the Eden tree, mid the seraphim's lullabies, Eve's might have been ere banished from paradise. End of section 52. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 53 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. To My Enemy. Let those who will of friendship sing, and to its guerdon grateful be. But I a lyric garland bring to crown thee, O mine enemy. Thanks, endless thanks to thee I owe, for that my lifelong journey through thine honest hate has done for me what love perchance had failed to do. I had not scaled such weary heights, but that I held thy scorn in fear, and never keenest lure might match the subtle goading of thy sneer. Thine anger struck from me a fire that purged all dull content away. Our mortal strife to be has been unflagging spur from day to day. And thus, while all the world may laud the gifts of love and loyalty, I lay my meed of gratitude before thy feet, mine enemy. End of section 53. This recording is in the public domain. Section 54 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. As the Heart Hopes. It is a year, dear one, since you afar went out beyond my yearning mortal sight. A wondrous year. Perchance in many a star you have sojourned, or basked within the light of mightier suns. It may be you have trod the glittering pathways of the Pleiades, and through the Milky Way's white mysteries have walked at will, fire-shod. You may have gazed in the immortal eyes of prophets and of martyrs, talked with seers, learned in all the lore of Paradise, the infinite wisdom of eternal years. To you the sons of morning may have sung the impassioned strophes of their matin hymn. For you the choirs of the seraphim their harpings wild outflung. But still I think at eve you come to me, for old delightsome speech of eye and lip, deeming our mutual converse thus to be fairer than archangelic comradeship, dearer our close communings fondly given than all the rainbow dreams a spirit knows, sweeter my gathered violets than the rose upon the hills of heaven. Can any exquisite unearthly morn, silverly breaking o'er a starry plain, give to your soul the poignant pleasure born of virgin moon and sunset's lustrous stain, when we together watch them? Oh, apart 100 universes you may roam, but still I know, your only home is here within my heart. End of section 54. This recording is in the public domain. Section 55 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Two Loves. One said, "Lo, I would walk hand-clasped with thee adown the ways of joy and sunlit slopes of earthly song in happiest vagrancy, to pluck the blossom of 1,000 hopes. Let us together drain the wide world's cup with gladness brimmed up." And one said, "I would pray to go with thee when sorrow claims thee. I would fence thy heart with mine against all anguish. I would be the comforter and healer of thy smart, and I would count it all the wide world's gain to spare or share thy pain." End of section 55. This recording is in the public domain. Section 56 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. The Christmas Night. Wrapped was the world in slumber deep, by seaward valley and cedarn steep, and bright and blessed were the dreams of its sleep. All the hours of that wonderful night-tide through, the stars outblossomed in fields of blue, a heavenly chaplet to diadem the King in the manger of Bethlehem. Out on the hills the shepherds lay, wakeful, that never a lamb might stray. Humble and clean of heart were they. Thus it was given them to hear marvelous harpings, strange and clear. Thus it was given them to see the heralds of the Nativity. In the dim-lit stable the mother mild looked with holy eyes on her child, cradled him close to her heart, and smiled. Kingly purple nor crown had he, never a trapping of royalty. But Mary saw that the baby's head with a slender nimbus was garlanded. Speechless her joy as she watched him there, forgetful of pain and grief and care, and every thought in her soul was a prayer. While under the dome of the desert sky the kings of the east from afar drew nigh, and the great white star that was guide to them kept ward o'er the manger of Bethlehem. End of section 56. This recording is in the public domain. Section 57 of The Watchmen and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. In an Old Farmhouse. Outside the afterlight's lucent rose is smiting the hills and brimming the valleys, and shadows are stealing across the snows from the mystic gloom of the pineland alleys. Glamour of mingled night and day over the wide white world has sway, and through their prisoning azure bars gaze the calm cold eyes of the early stars. But here in this long low-raftered room, where the blood-red light is crouching and leaping, the fire that colors the heart of the gloom, the lost sunshine of old summers is keeping. The wealth of forests that held in fee many a season's rare alchemy, and the glow and gladness without a name that dwells in the deeps of unstinted flame. Gather we now round the opulent blaze, with the face that loves and the heart that rejoices. Dream we once more of the old-time days, listen once more to the old-time voices. From the clutch of the cities and paths of the sea, we have come again to our own roof-tree, and forgetting the loves of the stranger lands, we yearn for the clasp of our kindred's hands. There are tales to tell, there are tears to shed, there are children's flower faces and women's sweet laughter. There's a chair left vacant for one who is dead, where the firelight crimsons the ancient rafter. What reck we of the world that waits with care and clamor beyond our gates, we with our own in this witching light, who keep our tryst with the past to-night? Ho, how the elf flames laugh in glee! Closer yet let us draw together, holding our revel of memory in the guiling twilight of winter weather. Out on the waste the wind is chill, and the moon swings low o'er the western hill. But old hates die, and old loves burn higher with the wane and flash of the farmhouse fire. End of section 57. This recording is in the public domain. Section 58 of The Watchmen and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. A Request. When I am dead, I would that she make my bed on that low-lying windy waste by the sea, where the silvery grasses rustle and lisp. There, where the crisp foam flakes shall fly over me, and murmurs creep from the ancient heart of the deep, lulling me ever, I shall most sweetly sleep, while the eerie sea-folk croon on the long dim shore by the light of a waning moon. I shall not hear clamour of young life anear, voices of gladness to stir an unrest. Only the wandering mists of the sea shall companion me. Only the wind in its quest shall come where I lie, or the rain from the brooding sky with furtive footsteps shall pass me by. And never a dream of the earth shall break on my slumber with lure of an outlived mirth. End of section 58. This recording is in the public domain. Section 59 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Memory Pictures. 1. A wide spring meadow in a rosy dawn, bedropped with virgin buds, an orient sky fleeced with a dappled cloud, but half withdrawn. A mad wind blowing by o'er slopes of rippling grass and glens apart. A brackened path to a wild woodland place, a limpid pool with a fair laughing face mirrored within its heart. 2. An ancient garden brimmed with summer sun upon a still and slumberous afternoon. Old walks and pleasances with shadows spun, where honeyed odors swoon. A velvet turf with blossoms garlanded, a hedge of Mary lilies white and tall, and shining out against a lichened wall, a stately golden head. 3. An autumn hilltop in the sunset hue, pine boughs uptossed against the crystal west, and girdled with the twilight dim and blue, a valley peace possessed. A high-sprung heaven stained with colors rare, a sheen of moonrise on the sea afar, and bright and soft as any glimmering star, eyes holy as a prayer. End of section 59. This recording is in the public domain. Section 60 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. Down Home. Down home tonight the moonshine falls across a hill with daisies pied. The pear tree by the garden gate beckons with white arms like a bride. A savor as of trampled fern along the whispering meadows stirs, and beacon of immortal love, a light is shining through the firs. To my old gable window creeps the night wind with a sigh and song, and weaving ancient sorceries, there too the gleeful moonbeams throng. Beside the open kitchen door my mother stands all lovingly, and o'er the pathways of the dark she sends a yearning thought to me. It seeks and finds my answering heart, which shall no more be peace possessed until I reach her empty arms and lay my head upon her breast. End of section 60. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 61 of the Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Lena Marie. The Choice. Life, come to me in no pale guise and ashen. I care not for thee in such placid fashion. I would share widely life, and all thy joy and strife, would sound thy deeps and reach thy highest passion, with thy delight and with thy suffering rife. Whether I bide with thee in cot or palace, I would drink deeply life of thy great chalice, even to its bitter lees, yea, shrinking not from these, since out of bitterness comes strength and solace, and wisdom is not won in slumberous ease. When peace on colored days were a poor favor, to lack great pain and love were to lack savor. Life, take the heart of me, and fill it brimmingly, no matter with what poignant brew or flavor, so that it may not shrunk and empty be. Yea, life, thus would I live, nor play at living, the best in me for thy best gladly giving, with an unfaltering cheer, greeting thee year by year, even in thy dourest mood some good achieving, until I read thy deep hid meaning clear. End of section 61. This recording is part of the public domain. Section 62 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Lena Marie. The scent of the earth is moist and good in the dewy shade of the tall, dark poplars, whose slender tops against the sunset bloom are laid, and a robin is whistling in the copse by the dim spruce wood. The west wind blowing o'er branch and flower out of the wold steals through the honeysuckle bower, and bears away on its airy wings odors that breath of paradise. Dim are the poppy's splendid dyes, but many a pallid primrose swings its lamp of gold. A white moth flits from tree to tree like a wandering soul. Deep in the lily a muffled boom tells of a honey-drunken bee wildered with sweets in that ivory bowl. Many a subtle melody, many a rare sound all unknown to the lusty daylight's fuller tone, threads with its magic this hush and gloom. Many a dear thought deep in the heart, many a memory, dulcet and fine, wakes as we walk in the garden tonight, in the soft kissing of dark and light, when the world has drawn itself apart from our spirit shrine. End of section 62. This recording is public domain. Section 63 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Lena Marie. My Legacy. My friend has gone away from me, from shadow into perfect light, but leaving a sweet legacy. My heart shall hold it along in fee, a grand ideal calm and bright, a song of hope and ministry, a faith of unstained purity, a thought of beauty for delight. These did my friend bequeath to me, and, more than even these can be, the worthy pattern of a white, unmarred life lived most graciously. Dear comrade, loyal thanks to thee, who now hath fared beyond my sight. My friend has gone away from me, but leaving a sweet legacy. End of section 63. This recording is a part of the public domain. Section 64 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Lena Marie. Gratitude. I thank thee, friend, for the beautiful thought that in words well chosen thou gavest to me. Deep in the life of my soul it has wrought with its own rare essence to ever imbue me, the gleam like a star over devious ways, to bloom like a flower on the dearest days. Better such gift from thee to me than gold of hills or pearls of the sea. For the luster of jewels and gold may depart, and they have in them no life of the giver. But this gracious gift from thy heart to my heart shall witness to me of thy love forever. Yeah, it shall always abide with me as a part of my immortality. For a beautiful thought is a thing divine. End of section 64. This recording is a part of the public domain.
Section 65 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Geza Hrazdina. Fancies. Fancies. Surely the flowers of 100 springs are simply the souls of beautiful things. The poppies aflame with gold and red were the kisses of lovers in days that are fled. The purple pansies with dewdrops pearled were the rainbow dreams of a youngling world. The lily, white as a star apart, was the first pure prayer of a virgin heart. The daisies that dance and twinkle so were the laughter of children in long ago. The sweetness of all true friendship yet lives in the breath of the mignonette. To the white narcissus there must belong the very delight of a maiden's song, and the rose, all flowers of the earth above, was a perfect rapturous thought of love. Oh, surely the blossoms of all the springs must be the souls of beautiful things. End of section 65. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 66 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. One of the Shepherds. We were out on the hills that night to watch our sheep. Drowsily by the fire we lay, where the waning flame did flicker and leap. And some were weary and half asleep, and some talked low of their flocks and the fright of a lion that day. But I had drawn from the others apart. I was only a lad, and the night's great silence so filled my heart that I dared not talk and I dared not jest. The moon had gone down behind the hill, and even the wind of the desert was still. As the touch of death, the air was cold, and the world seemed all outworn and old. Yet a poignant delight in my soul was guessed, and I could not be sad. Still were my thoughts the thoughts of youth under the skies. I dreamed of the holy and tender truth that shone for me in my mother's eyes, of my little sister's innocent grace, and the mirthful lure in the olive face, of a maid I had seen at the well that day, singing low as I passed that way, and so sweet and wild were the notes of her song that I listened long. Was it the dawn that silvered and broke over the hill? Each at the other looked in amaze, and never a breathless word we spoke. Fast into rose and daffodil, deep into that splendor athwart its blaze, that pierced like a sword the gulf of night, we saw a form that was shaped of the light, and we veiled our faces in awe and dread to hearken the tidings the bright one told. Oh, wonderful were the words he said, of a child in Bethlehem's manger old. The stars were drowned in that orient glow, the sky was abloom like a meadow in spring, but each blossom there was a radiant face, and each flash of glory a shining wing. They harped of peace and great goodwill, and such was their music that well I know there can never again in my soul be space for a sound of ill. The light died out as the sunset dies in the western skies. Swift went we to the Bethlehem Khan, many our questions laughed to scorn, but one, a grey and wrinkled man, with strange deep eyes that searched the heart, led us down to the child new born in a dim-lighted cave apart. There on the straw the mother lay, wan and white, but her look was so holy and rapt and mild that it seemed to shed a marvellous light, faint as the first rare gleam of day, around the child. It was as other children are, saving for something in the eyes, star-like and clear and strangely wise. Then came a sudden thought to me of a lamb I had found on the waste afar, lost and sick with hunger and cold. I had brought it back in my arms to the fold for tender ministry. Dawn had flooded the east as a wave when we left the cave. All the world suddenly seemed to be young and pure and joyous again. The others lingered to talk with the men, full of wonder and rapture still, but I hastened back to the fold on the hill to tend the lamb that had need of me. End of section 66. This recording is in the public domain. Section 67 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. If Mary had known. If Mary had known, when she held her babe's hands in her own, little hands that were tender and white as a rose, all dented with dimples from finger to wrist, such as mothers have kissed, that one day they must feel the fierce blows of a hatred insane, must redden with holiest stain, and grasp as their guerdon the boon of the bitterest pain. Oh, I think that her sweet brooding face must have blanched with its anguish of knowledge above her embrace. But if Mary had known, as she held her babe's hands in her own, what a treasure of gifts to the world they would bring, what healing and hope to the hearts that must ache, and without him must break. Had she known they would pluck forth death's sting, and set open the door of the close jealous grave evermore, making free who were captives in sorrow and darkness before. Oh, I think that a gracious sunrise of rapture had broken across the despair of her eyes. If Mary had known, as she sat with her baby alone, and guided so gently his bare little feet to take their first steps from the throne of her knee, how weary must be the path that for them should be meet, and how it must lead to the cross of humanity's need, giving hissing and shame, giving blame and reproach for its meed. Oh, I think that her tears would have dewed those dear feet that must walk such a hard, starless way to the rood. But if Mary had known, as she sat with her baby alone, on what errands of mercy and peace they would go, how those footsteps would ring through the years of all time, with an echo sublime, making holy the land of their woe, that the pathway they trod would guide the world back to its God, and lead ever upward away from the grasp of the clod, she had surely forgot to be sad, and only remembered to be most immortally glad. If Mary had known, as she held him so closely her own, cradling his shining fair head on her breast, sunned over with ringlets as bright as the morn, that a garland of thorn on that tender brow would be pressed till the red drops would fall into eyes that looked out upon all, abrim with a pity divine over clamour and brawl. Oh, I think that her lullaby song would have died on her lips into wailing impassioned and long. But if Mary had known, as she held him so closely her own, that over the darkness and pain he would be the conqueror hailed in all oncoming days, the world's hope and praise, and the garland of thorn, the symbol of mocking and scorn, would be a victorious diadem royally worn. Oh, I think that ineffable joy must have flooded her soul as she bent o'er her wonderful boy. End of section 67. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 68 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. At the Long Sault. Searching the pile of corpses, the victors found 4 Frenchmen still breathing. 3 had scarcely a spark of life. The 4th seemed likely to survive, and they reserved him for future torments. Parkman's History. A prisoner under the stars I lie, with no friend near. Tomorrow they lead me forth to die. The stake is ready, the torments set. They will pay in full their deadly debt. But I fear them not. Oh, none could fear of those who stood by Dolak's side, while he prayed and laughed and sang and fought in the very reek of death, and caught the martyr passion that flamed from his face as he died. Where he led us we followed glad, for we loved him well. Some there were that held him mad, but we knew that a heavenly rage had place in that dauntless soul. The good God spake to us through him. We had naught to do save only obey. And when his eyes flashed and kindled like storm-swept skies, and his voice like a trumpet thrilled us through, we would have marched with delight for his sake to the jaws of hell. The mists hung blue and still on the stream at the marge of dawn. The rapids laughed till we saw their teeth, like a snarling wolf's fangs, glisten and gleam. Sweetly the pine trees underneath the shadows slept in the moonlight wan. Sweetly beneath the steps of the spring the great grim forest was blossoming. And we fought that springs for other men might blossom again. Faint, thirst-maddened we prayed and fought by night and by day. Eyes glared at us with serpent hate. Yet sometimes a hush fell, and then we heard naught save the wind's shrill harping far away, the piping of birds, and the softened calls of the merry distant waterfalls. Then of other scenes we thought, of valleys beloved in sunny France, purple vineyards of song and dance, hopes and visions roseate, of many a holy festal morn, and many a dream at vesper bell. But anon the shuddering air was torn by noises such as the fiends of hell might make in holding high holiday. Once, so bitter the death storm hailed, we shrank and quailed. Dolak sprang out before us then, shamed in our fears. Glorious was his face to see, the face of one who listens and hears voices unearthly, summonings high. Rang his tone like a clarion. Men, see yonder star in the golden sky. Such a man's duty is to him, a beacon that will not flicker nor dim, shining through darkness and despair. Almost the martyr's crown is yours. Thinking the price too high to be paid, will you leave the sacrifice half made? I tell you, God will answer the prayer of the soul that endures. Comrades, far in the future I see a mighty land, throned among the nations of earth, noble and happy, calm and free. As a veil were lifted, I see her stand, and out of that future a voice to me promises that our name shall shine on the page of her story with lustre divine, impelling to visions and deeds of worth. Ever thus since the world was begun, when a man had given up his life, safety and freedom have been won by the holy power of self-sacrifice. For the memory of your mother's kiss, valiantly stand to the breach again, comrades. Blench not now from the strife. Quit you like men. Oh, we rushed to meet at our captain's side Death as a bride. All our brave striplings bravely fell. I, less fortunate, slowly came back from that den of shot and yell, slowly and gaspingly to know a harder fate reserved for me than that brief splendid agony. To many a bitter pang and throe my spirit must to-morrow go to seek my comrades. But I bear the tidings that our desperate stand by the Long Sault has saved our land, and God has answered Dolak's prayer. End of section 68. This recording is in the public domain. Section 69 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. The Exile. We told her that her far-off shore was bleak and dour to view, and that her sky was dull and murk, while ours was smiling blue. She only sighed in answer, "It is even as ye say, but oh, the ragged splendor when the sun bursts through the gray." We brought her dew-wet roses from our fairest summer bowers. We bade her drink their fragrance, we heaped her lap with flowers. She only said, with eyes that yearned, "Oh, if ye might have brought the pale, unscented blossoms by my father's lowly cot." We bade her listen to the birds that sang so madly sweet, the lyric of the laughing stream that dimpled at our feet. "But oh," she cried, "I weary for the music wild that stirs when keens the mournful western wind among my native firs." We told her she had faithful friends and loyal hearts anear. We prayed her take the fresher loves, we prayed her be of cheer. "Oh, ye are kind and true," she wept, "but woe's me for the grace of tenderness that shines upon my mother's wrinkled face." End of section 69. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 70 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. The Three Songs. The poet sang of a battlefield where doughty deeds were done, where stout blows rang on helm and shield, and a kingdom's fate was spun with a scarlet thread of victory, and honor from death's grim revelry, like a flame-red flower was won. So bravely he sang that to all he heard, with the sting of the fight and the triumph were stirred, and they cried, "Let us blazon his name on high, he has sung a song that will never die." Again, full-throated, he sang of fame and ambition's honeyed lure, of the chaplet that garlands a mighty name, till his listeners fired with a godlike flame. To do, to dare, to endure, the thirsty lips of the world were fain the cup of glamour he wanted to drain. And the people murmured as he went by, "He has sung a song that will never die." And once more he sang, all low and apart, a song of love that was born in his heart, thinking to voice in unfettered strain its sweet delight and its sweeter pain. Nothing he cared what the throngs might say, who passed him unheeding from day to day, for he only longed with his melodies the soul of the one he beloved to please. The song of war that he sang is as naught, for the field and its heroes are long forgot, and the song he sang of fame and power was never remembered beyond its hour. Only today his name is known by the song he sang apart and alone, and the great world pauses with joy to hear the notes that were strung for a lover's ear. End of section 70. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 71 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. In an old town garden. Shut from the clamour of the street by an old wall with lichen grown, it holds apart from jar and fret a peace and beauty all its own. The freshness of the springtime rains and dews of morning linger here. It holds the glow of summer noons and ripest twilights of the year. Above its bloom the evening stars look down at closing of the day, and in its sweet and shady walks winds spent with roaming love to stray, upgathering to themselves the breath of wide-blown roses white and red, the spice of musk and lavender along its winding alleys shed. Outside are shadeless, troubled streets, and souls that quest for gold and gain, lips that have long forgot to smile, and hearts that burn and ache with pain. But here is all the sweet of dreams, the grace of prayer, the boon of rest. The spirit of old songs and loves dwells in this garden, blossom blessed. Here would I linger for a space, and walk herein with memory. The world will pass me as it may, and hope will minister to me. End of section 71. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 72 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Elizabeth Travers. The Seeker. I sought for my happiness over the world, oh eager and far was my quest. I sought it on mountain and desert and sea, I asked it of east and of west. I sought it in beautiful cities of men, on shores that were sunny and blue, and laughter and lyric and pleasure were mine, in palaces wondrous to view. Oh, the world gave me much to my plea and my prayer, but never I found aught of happiness there. Then I took my way back to a valley of old, and a little brown house by a rill, where the winds piped all day in the sentinel firs that guarded the crest of the hill. I went by the path that my childhood had known, through the bracken and up by the glen, and I paused at the gate of the garden to drink the scent of sweetbriar again. The home light shone out through the dusk as of yore, and happiness waited for me at the door. End of section 72. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 73 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. The Poet's Thought. It came to him in rainbow dreams, blent with the wisdom of the sages, of spirit and of passion born, in words as lucent as the morn. He prisoned it, and now it gleams, a jewel shining through the ages. End of section 73. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 74 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. The Call. Mother of her who is close to my heart, cease to chide. For no small thing must I wander afar from the tender arms and lips of my bride, my love with eyes like the glowing star in the twilight sky apart. couldst thou have seen him standing there ere the day was born, with the mild high look that was like a prayer, thou wouldst not marvel that I must leave all I hold most dear to answer the call of that wonderful morn. We were casting our nets in the sea, Andrew and I. Over the mountains a young wind came to kiss the waters of Galilee, and in the calm blue northern sky the gleaming crest of old Herman rose, girt with its diadem of snows, and the east was smit with flame. All our thoughts were simple and glad, as toilers should be. Andrew, that careless, dark-eyed lad, sang a song right merrily, joyous of melody and word, as he worked with oar and net and sail. But I dreamed of the face that would blush and pale when my step should be heard. Then, as we lifted heedless eyes, we saw him there, where the silver waters curled on the shore. Behind him the radiance of the skies, shining over his long fair hair, wreathed it as with a crown of light. And oh, the grandeur and the grace of that pale and kingly face! We were weary and hungered with toil of the night, but we thought not of it more. He looked upon us with eyes that must see far in our hearts, past mortal ken. All the delights of the world grew dim. Sweeter it seemed to suffer pain and wander, outcast of men, with him, than share in another's joy and gain. Spake he thus royally, "Come with me, I will make you fishers of men." Mother of her who weeps at my side, cease to chide. Thou knowest not how that one word rings ever by day and by night in my ear. I cannot hearken to olden things, I cannot listen to hope or fear. Mother of her who is dearest of all, I must follow the Nazarene's call. End of section 74. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 75 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. The Old Home Calls. Come back to me, little dancing feet that roam the wide world o'er. I long for the lilt of your flying steps in my silent rooms once more. Come back to me, little voices gay with laughter and with song. Come back, little hearts beating high with hopes. I have missed and mourned you long. My roses bloom in my garden walks, all sweet and wet with dew. My lights shine down on the long hill road, the waning twilights through. The swallows flutter about my eaves as in the years of old, and close about me are their steadfast arms, the lisping pine trees fold. But I weary for you at morn and eve, O children of my love. Come back to me from your pilgrim ways, from the seas and plains you rove. Come over the meadows and up the lane to my door set open wide. And sit ye down where the red light shines from my welcoming fireside. I keep for you all your childhood dreams, your gladness and delights, the joy of days in the sun and rain, the sleep of carefree nights. All the sweet fates ye have lost and sought again shall be your own. Darlings, come to my empty heart. I am old and still and alone. End of section 75. This recording is in the public domain. Section 76 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L. M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. Genius. 100 generations have gone into its making, with all their love and tenderness, with all their dreams and tears, their vanished joy and pleasure, their pain and their heart breaking, have colored this rare blossom of the long and fruitful years. Their victory and their laughter, for this have strong men given, for this have sweet dead women paid in patience which survives, that a great soul might bring the world as from the gate of heaven. All that was rich and beautiful in those forgotten lives. End of section 76. This recording is in the public domain. Section 77 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L. M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. Love's Prayer. Beloved, this the heart I offer thee is purified from old idolatry, from outworn hopes and from the lingering stain of passion's dregs by penitential pain. Take thou it, then, and fill it up for me with thine unstained love, and it shall be an earthly chalice that is made divine by its red draught of sacramental wine. End of section 77. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 78 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L. M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Leonard Wilson of Springfield, Ohio. The Prisoner. I lash and writhe against my prison bars, and watch with sullen eyes the gaping crowd. Give me my freedom and the burning stars, the hollow sky and crags of moonlit cloud. Once I might range across the trackless plain and roar with joy until the desert air and wide horizons echoed it amain. I feared no foe, for I was monarch there. I saw my shadow on the parching sand when the hot sun had kissed the mountain's rim, and when the moon rose o'er long wastes of land, I sought my prey by some still river's brim. And with me my fierce love, my tawny mate, meet mother of strong cubs, meet lion's bride. We made our lair in regions desolate, the solitude of wildernesses wide. They slew her, and I watched the life-blood flow from her torn flank, and her proud eyes grow dim. I howled her dirge above her, while the low red moon clomb up the black horizon's rim. Me they entrapped. Cowards! They did not dare to fight as brave men do without disguise, and face my unleashed rage. The hidden snare was their device to win an untamed prize. I am a captive. Not for me the vast white dome of sky above the blinding sand, the sweeping rapture of the desert blast across long ranges of untrodden land. Yet still they fetter not my thought. In dreams I, desert-born, tread the hot wastes once more, quench my deep thirst in cool, untainted streams, and shake the darkness with my kingly roar. End of section 78. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 79 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Ian King. Companioned. I walked today, but not alone, adown a windy sea-girt lea. For memory, spendthrift of her charm, peopled the silent lands for me. The faces of old comradeship in golden youth were round my way, and in the keening wind I heard the songs of many an orient day. And to me called from out the pines and woven grasses voices dear, as if from elfin lips should fall the mimicked tones of yesteryear. Old laughter echoed o'er the leas, and love-lipped dreams the past had kept. From wayside blooms, like honeyed bees, to company my wanderings crept. And so I walked, but not alone. Right glad companionship had I, on that grey meadow waste between dim-litten sea and winnowed sky. End of section 79. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 80 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. You. Only a long, low-lying lane that follows to the misty sea, across a bare and russet plain where wild winds whistle vagrantly. I know that many a fairer path with lure of song and blue may woo, but oh, I love this lonely strath, because it is so full of you. Here we have walked in elder years, and here your truest memories wait. This spot is sacred to your tears, that to your laughter dedicate. Here, by this turn you gave to me, a gem of thought that glitters yet. This tawny slope is graciously by a remembered smile beset. Here once you lingered on an hour, when stars were shining in the west, to gather one pale scented flower, and place it smiling on your breast. And since that eve its fragrance blows for me across the grasses sere, far sweeter than the latest rose, that faded bloom of yesteryear. For me the sky, the sea, the wold, have beckoning visions wild and fair, the mystery of a tale untold, the grace of an unuttered prayer. Let others choose the fairer path that winds the dimpling valley through. I gladly seek this lonely strath, accompanied by my dreams of you. End of section 80. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 81 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Esther Simonides. Unrecorded. I like to think of the many words the Master in his early days must have spoken to them of Nazareth, words not freighted with life and death, piercing through soul and heart like words, but gracious greeting and grateful phrase, the simple speech that plain folk utter each to each. Ere over him too darkly lay the prophet's shadow of Calvary, I think he talked in very truth with the innocent gaiety of youth, laughing upon some festal day, gentling with sinless boyhood's glee. I think if he had ever said, to a mother apart, cradling her baby's shining head, "Thy man-child is strong of limb and heart," she must have been, from that gladsome day, thrilled with enduring pride alway, fearless of any future dread, knowing the Son upon her knee worthy her pain and love would be. Or if by the dusty wayside well, from the glare and heat of the burning noon, a wayfarer sought a moment's rest where the palm shade fell, and he said to him, "The day is hot, and your road is rough for wandering feet," then I think on his way the pilgrim went, as one who has shared in his sacrament, feeling no longer on him press the burden of his weariness. if he said to a maid the sunset lies redly on Nazareth hills to-night, each sunset of her life would bring a benedictive memory of his haunting face and holy eyes, or if to a bridegroom thus in spring the wife of thy youth is fair and wise, so would she ever have seemed to be in her husband's sight. If he but bade a passing guest his meal to share, would not the one so honoured deem himself of all most highly blessed, the food he ate heaven's manna rare? Or when he to a friend addressed a word of thanks for service done, or homely, familiar favour, none of richer recompense could dream. No evangelist's golden pen wrote them for us, the words of the Master to those he might meet by the carpenter's bench or in Nazareth street, but in them I think there well might be. It is surely sweet to fancy thus of all the benediction for men, all of the tender humanity that leavens the word of his later age on the holy page. End of section 81. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 82 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by JoeBlu. With tears they buried you today. With tears they buried you today. But well I knew no turf could hold your gladness long beneath the mould, or cramp your laughter in the clay. I smiled while others wept for you, because I knew. And now you sit with me tonight, here in our old, accustomed place. Tender and mirthful is your face, your eyes with starry joy are bright. Oh, you are merry as a song, for love is strong. They think of you as lying there, down in the churchyard, grim and old. They think of you as mute and cold, a wan white thing that once was fair, with dim sealed eyes that never may look on the day. But love cannot be confined so. In clod and darkness it must rise, and seek its own radiant guise, with immortality aglow, making of death's triumphant sting a little thing. Aye, we shall laugh at those who deem our hearts are surrendered. Listen, sweet, the tripping of the wind's swift feet along the byways of our dream, and hark the whisper of the rose, wilding that blows. Oh, still you love those simple things, and still you love them more with me. The grave has won no victory. It could not clasp your shining wings, it could not keep you from my side, dear and my bride. End of section 82. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 83 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Maggie Travers. In Memory of Maggie, a pussycat who was the household pet for 17 years. Naught but a little cat, you say, yet we remember her, a creature loving, loyal, kind, with merry, mellow purr, the faithful friend of many years. Shall we not give her meed of tears? Sleek-suited in her velvet coat, white-breasted and bright-eyed, feeling when she was praised and stroked a very human pride. A quiet nook was sure to please, where she might take her cushioned ease. Little gray friend, we shall not feel ashamed to grieve for you. Many we know of humankind are not so fond and true. Dear Puss, in all the years to be, we'll keep your memory loyally. End of section 83. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 84 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. Realization. I smiled with skeptic mocking where they told me you were dead. You of the airy laughter and lightly twinkling feet. They tell a dream that haunted a chill gray dawn, I said. Death could not touch or claim a thing so vivid and so sweet. I looked upon you coffined amid your virgin flowers, but even that white silence could bring me no belief. She lies in maiden sleep, I said, and in the youngling hours, Her sealed dark eyes will open to scorn our foolish grief. But when I went at moonrise to our ancient trysting place, and oh, the wind was keening in the fir boughs overhead, and you came never to me with your little gypsy face, your lips and hands of welcome, I knew that you were dead. End of section 84. This recording is in the public domain. Section 85 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. The Garden in Winter. Frosty white and cold it lies underneath the fretful skies. Snowflakes flutter where the red banners of the poppies spread, and the drifts are wide and deep where the lilies fell asleep. But the sunsets o'er it throw flame-like splendor, lucent glow, and the moonshine makes it gleam like a wonderland of dream, and the sharp winds all the day pipe and whistle shrilly gay. Safe beneath the snowdrifts lie rainbow buds of by and by. In the long sweet days of spring, music of bluebells shall ring, and its faintly golden cup many a primrose will hold up. Though the winds are keen and chill, roses' hearts are beating still, and the garden tranquilly dreams of happy hours to be. In the summer days of blue, all its dreamings will come true. End of section 85. This recording is in the public domain. Section 86 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. The Difference. When we were together, heart of my heart, on that unforgotten quest, with your tender arm about me thrown, and your head upon my breast, there came a grief that was bitter and deep, and straightly dwell with me, and I shunned it not, so sweet it was, to suffer and be with thee. And now, when no more against mine own is beating thine eager heart, when thine eyes are turned from the glance of mine, and our ways are far apart, a dear and long-sought joy is come my constant guest to be, and I love it not, so bitter it is, unfelt, unshared, by thee. End of section 86. This recording is in the public domain. Section 87 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. The Poet. There was strength in him, and the weak won freely from it. There was an infinite pity, and hard hearts grew soft thereby. There was truth so unshrinking and starry shining, men read clear by its light, and learned to scorn a lie. His were songs so full of a wholesome laughter, those whose courage was ashen found it once more aflame. His was a childlike faith, and wandering feet were guided. His was a hope so joyous, despair was put to shame. His was the delicate insight, and his the poignant vision, whereby the world might learn what wine-lipped roses know. What a drift of rain might lisp on a grey sea dawning, or a pale spring of the woodland babble low. He builded a castle of dream and a palace of rainbow fancy, and the starved souls of his fellows lived in them and grew glad. And yet there were those who mocked the gifts of his generous giving, and some, but he smiled and forgave them, who deemed him wholly mad. End of section 87. This recording is in the public domain. Section 88 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. The Mother. Here I lean over you, small son, sleeping warm in my arms, and I con to my heart all your dew-fresh charms, as you lie close, close in my hungry hold. Your hair like a miser's dream of gold, and the white rose of your face far fairer, finer and rarer than all the flowers in the young year's keeping. Over lips half parted your low breath creeping is sweeter than violets in April grasses. Though your eyes are fast shut, I can see their blue, splendid and soft as starshine in heaven, with all the joyance and wisdom given from the many souls who have staunchly striven through the dead years to be strong and true. Those fine little feet in my worn hands holden, where will they tread? Valleys of shadow, or heights dawn red? And those silken fingers, O wee white sun, what valorous deeds shall by them be done in the future that yet so distant is seeming to my fond dreaming? What words all so musical and golden, with starry truth and poesy olden, shall those lips speak in the years oncoming? O child of mine with waxen brow, surely your words of that dim tomorrow rapture and power and grace must borrow from the poignant love and holy sorrow of the heart that shrines and cradles you now. Some bitter day you will love another, to her will bear love gifts and woo her. Then I must share you and your tenderness. Now you are mine, from your feet to your hair so golden and fine, and your crumpled fingertips, mine completely, wholly and sweetly, mine with kisses deep to smother. No one so near to you now as your mother. Others may hear your words of beauty, but your precious silence is mine alone. Here in my arms I have enrolled you, away from the grasping world I fold you, flesh of my flesh, and bone of my bone. End of section 88. This recording is in the public domain. Section 89 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. To One Hated. Hate is only love that has missed its way. Had it been when I came to the valley where the paths parted asunder, chance had led my feet to the way of love, not hate, I might have cherished you well, have been to you fond and faithful. Great as my hatred is, so might my love have been great. Each cold word of mine might have been a kiss impassioned, warm with the throb of my heart, thrilled with my pulses leap, and every glance of scorn lashing, pursuing, and stinging, as a look of tenderness would have been wondrous and deep. Bitter our hatred is, old and strong and unchanging, twined with the fibers of life, blent with body and soul. But as its bitterness, so might have been our love's sweetness, had it not missed the way, strange missing and sad, to its goal. End of section 89. This recording is in the public domain. Section 90 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. While the Fates Sleep. Come, let us to the sun-ways of the west hasten while crystal dews the rose cups fill. Let us dream dreams again in our blithe quest, o'er whispering wold and hill. Castles of air yon wimpling valleys keep, where milk-white mist steals from the purpling sea. They shall be ours in the moon's wizardry, while the fates, wearied, sleep. The viewless spirit of the wind will sing in the soft starshine by the reedy mere. The elfin harps of hemlock boughs will ring, fitfully far and near. The fields will yield their trove of spice and musk, and balsam from the glens of pine will fall, till twilight weaves its tangled shadows all in one dim web of dusk. Let us put tears and memories away, while the fates' sleep time stops for revelry. Let us look, speak, and kiss as if no day has been or yet will be. Let us make friends with laughter 'neath the moon, with music on the immemorial shore. Yea, let us dance as lovers danced of yore. The fates will waken soon. End of section 90. This recording is in the public domain. Section 91 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Geza, Hrazdina. The Farewell. He rides away with sword and spur, garbed in his warlike blazonry, with gallant glance and smile for her upon the dim-lit balcony. Her kiss upon his lips is warm, upon his breast he wears her rose. From her fond arms to stress and storm of many a bannered field he goes. He dreams of danger, glory, strife. His voice is blithe, his hand is strong. He rides, perchance, to death from life, and leaves his lady with a song. But her blue-brimmed eyes are dim, with her deep anguish standing there, sending across the world with him the dear white guerdon of her prayer. For her the lonely vigil waits, when ashen dawn lights come and go, each bringing through the future's gates its presages of fear and woe. For her the watch with soul and heart, grown sick with dread as women may, yet keeping still her pain apart from the wan duties of the day. 'Tis hers to walk when sunsets yield their painted splendors to the skies, and dream on some far battlefield, perchance alone, unwatched, he dies. 'Tis hers to kneel in patient prayer when midnight stars keep sentinel, lest the chill death dews damp the hair upon the brow she loves so well. So stands she, white and sad and sweet, upon the latticed balcony. From golden hair to slender feet, no lady is so fair as she. He loves her true, he holds her dear, but he must ride on dangerous quest, with gallant glance and smile of cheer, and her red rose upon his breast. End of section 91. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 92 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery, read for LibriVox.org by Jesse O'Brien. The Old Man's Grave. Make it where the winds may sweep through the pine boughs, soft and deep, and the murmur of the sea come across the orient lea, and the falling raindrops sing gently to his slumbering. Make it where the meadows wide greenly lie on every side, harvest fields he reaped and trod, westering slopes of clover sod, orchard lands where bloom and blow trees he planted long ago. Make it where the starshine dim may be always close to him, and the sunrise glory spread lavishly around his bed, and the dewy grasses creep tenderly above his sleep. Since these things to him were dear through full many a well-spent year, it is surely meet their grace should be on his resting place, and the murmur of the sea be his dirge eternally. End of section 92. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 93 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Forever. With you I shall ever be, over land and sea. My thoughts will companion you. With yours shall my laughter chime, and my step keep time in the dusk and dew, with yours in blithesome rhyme. In all of your joy shall I rejoice. On my lips your sorrow shall find a voice, and when your tears in bitterness fall, mine shall mingle with them all. With you in waking and dream I shall be, in the place of shadow and memory, under young springtime moons, and on harvest noons, and when the stars are withdrawn from the white pathway of the dawn. O my friend, nothing shall ever part my soul from yours, yours from my heart. I am yours and you mine, in silence and in speech. Death will only seal us each to each. Through the darkness we shall fare with fearless jest. Starward we shall go on a joyous new quest. There be many worlds, as we shall prove, many suns and systems, but only one love. End of section 93. This recording is in the public domain.
Section 94 of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery. Read for LibriVox.org by Rachel. By an autumn fire. Now at our casement the wind is shrilling, poignant and keen, and all the great boughs of the pines between. It is harping a lone and hungering strain to the eldritch weeping of the rain, and then to the wild wet valley flying, it is seeking, sighing, something lost in the summer olden, when night was silver and day was golden. But out on the shore the waves are moaning with ancient and never fulfilled desire, and the spirits of all the empty spaces, of all the dark and haunted places, with the rain and the wind on their death-white faces, come to the lure of our leaping fire. But we bar them out with this rose-red splendor from our blithe domain, and drown the whimper of wind and rain with undaunted laughter echoing long, cheery old tale and gay old song. Ours is the joyance of ripe fruition, attained ambition. Ours is the treasure of tested loving friendship that needs no further proving. No more of springtime hopes, sweet and uncertain. Here we have largesse of summer in fee. Pile high the logs till the flame be leaping, at bay the chill of the autumn keeping, while pilgrim-wise we may go a-reaping in the fairest meadow of memory. End of section 94. End of The Watchman and Other Poems by L.M. Montgomery.